you doing, family, friends, Facebook, YouTube? This is Ivan coming at you again here on the Sabbath day with another lesson. And today's lesson will be entitled, The Lord of the Vineyard. It's currently 4:15 in the morning. And I believe that I am ready to go. Before I begin, I want to give thanks to the Most High, Ahaya, His Son Yeshua, and also to the Ruach HaKodesh. And I ask the Most High that He blesses and sanctify this lesson this morning, here on the Sabbath day. Lord of the Vineyard. Today, we're going to be all over the place. We're going to come out of this book, that book, this book, and that book. But the first book we're going to be in today is going to be in the sealed portion. And we're going to be in chapter 31. And I want to read verses 1 through 7. This is going to set the tone for today's lesson. Chapter 31, the header. The rise of the great Roman Empire and the explanation of the great beast by John in Revelation. The Roman Empire is one beast, and the great European Empire and the United States are some of the other beasts described by John. The book of Revelation is expounded on extensively. Verse 1. And now, it is convenient at this point in my abridgment that I introduce the next great nation that arose after the nation of the Greeks. And this great nation is that Roman Empire, even that same nation that ruled most of the earth in the present day of my fathers, on the other side, on the other continent of the earth, which would be the Middle East. Even that continent out of which my fathers traveled. And we're talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. At about this present time, the Roman Empire shall be wounded exceedingly because of its great sins before the Lord, even so much that it shall be destroyed by a deadly wound, according to the words of John that are written in the Bible, which ye have already among you. But from its wounds the rise of another great nation shall come to pass, and this nation shall be known as the great European Empire. The great European Empire. And from that great empire, Satan shall make his final stand against the saints of God, even before the Lord cometh again in his glory to claim that which have been placed in his power by the Father. For Satan shall cause to be established a powerful nation among the Gentiles, that shall strike fear in all other nations of the world. And with this great nation, Satan shall begin to rule and reign over his own dominion without the restrictions that were placed on him by the Father in the beginning. And this shall be the final opportunity of Satan to show unto the children of God that his plan can bring happiness and joy to those who follow him and give them the glory that he seeketh. And this great nation shall be known as the United States. For they shall be united in their desire to worship Satan and his image. For they shall be united in their desire to worship Satan and his image. Now, Satan, he's got an image. Remember, they shall be united in their desire to worship Satan and his image. And this because of their works. And unknowingly, they shall be led to believe that Satan is their God. The European Empire, they don't know that Satan is their God. Even the very eternal Father. And they shall support and worship this image, and cause all other nations who do not support and worship the image shall be condemned or destroyed. Verse 7. And now, all these things shall come to pass according to the words of the brother of Jared. And I shall hereafter give unto you an abridgment of how these things shall come to pass. Nevertheless, it hath been commanded me by the Spirit to give unto you the words of John, which are written in the book of the Jews, which are written in the book of the Jews, the stick of Judah. The book of the Jews, the stick of Judah. For the words of John are the final words of this book. For the words of John are the final words of this book. And shall give unto the children of men all the knowledge that they shall need in order that they might understand that which Satan hath done to deceive them and led them away from the words of Christ and into captivity, being bound by the chains of Satan. Let's stop right there. The European Empire is the last beast mentioned in Revelations by John. And this last empire, the European Empire, the beasts worship Satan, and they don't even know it. The great European Empire worships Satan, and they don't even know it. The seal portion, the book to come out in the last days. Setting the tone in there. Ladies and gentlemen, Church of Christ, Jews and Gentiles, you will need the sealed book of Mormon. Today you will need the stick of Joseph and also the stick of Judah. Now, the sealed book of Mormon. We're going to be in chapter 14 today. Chapter 14. And we will read verse 32 through 37 this morning. Now, before we begin to read verse 32, let me get Matthew chapter 20. Matthew chapter 20, verses 18 and 19. Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles to mock, and to scourge, and to crucify him. And the third day, he shall rise again. What day? The third day. Now, we can begin in the sealed book of Mormon, chapter 14, verse 32. It so happened after the third day. The third day, after I was resurrected in Jerusalem, that I came to be among mine other sheep of whom I have spoken. Let's stop. Let's precept that with John chapter 10, verse 16. John chapter 10, verse 16. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice. And they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Now Christ is talking about the northern tribe of Israel. Christ is talking about the stick of Joseph in the hand of Ephraim, the other sheep, the northern tribe of the house of Israel. Verse 32 again. And it happened after the third day, after I was resurrected in Jerusalem, that I came to be among my other sheep of whom I have spoken, that these I would also have to visit. That these I would also have to visit. Let's stop again. Let's precept that. Let's go to 3 Nephi, chapter 16, verses 1 through 4. 3 Nephi, chapter 16, verses 1 through 4. Let's read the header first. Jesus will visit others of the lost sheep of Israel. In the last days, the gospel will go to the Gentiles and then to the house of Israel. The Lord's people will see eye to eye when he brings again Zion. Verse 1. And verily, verily, I say unto you, that I have other sheep, which are not of this land, neither of the land of Jerusalem, neither in any parts of the land around about whither I have been to minister. Verse 2. For they of whom I speak are they who have not as yet heard my voice, neither have I at any time manifested myself unto them. Verse 3. But I have received a commandment of the Father, that I should go unto them, and that they shall hear my voice, and shall be numbered among my sheep, that there may be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore I go to show myself unto them. Verse 4. And I command you that ye shall write these things, Salakia. And I command you that ye shall write these sayings after I am going, that if it so be that my people at Jerusalem, they who have seen me and been with me in my ministry, do not ask the Father in my name, that they may receive a knowledge of you by the Holy Ghost, and also of the other tribes whom they know not of. That these sayings which ye shall write shall be kept and shall be manifested unto the Gentiles, that through their fullness of the Gentiles, the remnant of their seed, who shall be scattered forth upon the face of the earth because of their unbelief, may be brought in, or may be brought to a knowledge of me, their Redeemer. 3 Nephi, chapter 16, coming out with the stick of Joseph, the northern tribe of Israel, the other sheep. Seal Book of Mormon, again, verse 32, all over again. It so happened after the third day, after I was resurrected in Jerusalem, that I came to be among my other sheep of whom I have spoken, that these I would also have to visit, which are a branch of the house of Israel, planted in a fertile land. But behold, I say to you that although they live in a period of total harmony for a short time, with the noble sentiments coming from the most great gift, from the Spirit of God, behold, in the course of his future days, the natural tree, that is the Jews are the natural tree, into whom the branches wow, which are the Gentiles that are grafted. So the wild branches are the Gentiles that are grafted. Will be overburdened with every kind of fruit, both the Jew and Gentile, and this will occur both in the land of your ancestors, as well as in this land of your inheritance. For how much many shall come from other lands, even many Jews. Even many Jews. From various tribes of Israel, and also from Ephraim. But behold, there shall be many Gentiles coming from afar. But behold, there shall be many Gentiles coming from afar. Let's stop right there. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. Let's stop. Let's go back up here. But behold, there shall be many Gentiles coming from afar. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. Let's get back into the sealed book, okay? But behold, there shall be many Gentiles coming from afar. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Now, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. Let's precept that with Baruch chapter 4. Baruch chapter 4 in your Apocrypha. For he hath brought a nation upon them from far. For he hath brought a nation upon them from far. A shameless nation of a strange language, who neither reverence old man nor pity child. Now this nation that's coming from afar will be the European Empire. And the European Empire will not give a damn about any old man, any woman, any child. They'll kill them. These have carried away the dear beloved children of the widow, and left her that was alone, desolate, without daughters. But how can I help you? For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies. Go your way, O my children, go your way, for I am left desolate. I have put off the clothing of peace, and put on me the sackcloth of my prayer. I will cry unto the everlasting in my days. Be of good cheer, O my children, cry unto the Lord, and he will deliver you from the power and hands of the enemies. For my hope is in the everlasting, that he will save you. And joy is come unto me from the Holy One, because of the mercy which shall soon come unto you from the everlasting, our Savior. For I sent you out with mourning and weeping, but the Most High will give you to me again with joy and gladness forever. Now, Baruch chapter 4 is letting you know that the European Empire will come from afar. That's Baruch chapter 4 in your Apocrypha. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. It's also letting you know that the European nation will come from afar. Okay? Now, the sealed Book of Mormon is also saying the same thing. This is what we're reading from today, okay? Let's repeat that. But behold, there shall be many Gentiles coming from afar, from places overseas, and it shall be seen that none of their fruit shall be good unto me in this period of time. Now Christ is saying that the European nation, at a time period, their fruit shall be no good unto him. It's a time period. And that time period will be 1492. That time period will be 1619. But let's start with 1490. Let's start with 1492 with Christopher Columbus. Let me grab another book. Black people are indigenous to the Americas. Let me start in this book. Let me start with Christopher Columbus. You see, in 1492, Christopher Columbus, he seen some people. And what he seen was, they are dark of complexion, like the Canary Islanders, and paint themselves in various colors. They do not carry arms and have no knowledge of them. For when I showed them our swords. For when I showed them our swords. So Christopher Columbus, when he came here to this land, he seen people of dark complexion. He's seen people of dark complexion. This is what Christopher Columbus seen when he came to the Americas. See her with her fringes on at the bottom of her skirt, her dress, dark complexion. You see the Gentiles standing right beside this man of a dark complexion. (1492). We're talking about a time period. A time period that the European Empire, their fruit shall be no good to Christ. How about 1619? How about that time period? 1619 time period. The European Empire, their fruit shall be no good to Christ. 1619 time period. So we got the 14th century, 15th century, 16th century, 17th century. That time period, the fruit of the European Empire will be no good to Christ, is what he's saying. Now, we're going to get into a little bit more of that in verse 33, the next verse. But let me finish verse 32. But behold, there shall be many Gentiles coming from afar, the European Empire, from places overseas, and it shall be seen that none of their fruit shall be good unto me in this period of time. Verse 33. It is therefore at this time that the prophecies concerning the days of the predicted darkness are fulfilled, which will cover the earth, when the sun will set on the prophets. When the sun will set on the prophets, and the light of men will become darkness. And the light of men will become darkness. Let's stop right there. Let's precept that with 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And we're going to read verses 10 through 12. And with all deceitfulness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, the Most High, the Creator, shall send them in strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that darkness, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Now, let's precept this with Isaiah chapter 29, verses 10 through 13. Isaiah chapter 29, verses 10 through 13. Verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, that darkness, that deep sleep, and have closed your eyes, the prophets, your rulers, the seers have he covered, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book, as the words of a book, as the words of a book that is sealed, the words of a book that is sealed, the sealed book of Mormon, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for the seal. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precepts of men. So what is that darkness? That darkness is the spirit of deep sleep, that the Most High will give us a strong delusion that we should believe a lie. That we should believe a lie. Let's repeat verse 33. It is therefore at this time that the prophecies concerning these days of that predicted darkness are fulfilled, which will cover the earth, when the sun will set on the prophets, and the light of men will become darkness, and there will be no one to tell you how much longer this will last. By what form is that church that was foretold to Nephi, the son of Lehi, that will be the most abominable of all the churches, whose founder is the devil, and who, for the praise of the world, will destroy the saints of God, and also enslave them, and also enslave them, and also enslave them, and also enslave them. Remember, that time period, the European Empire will be, their fruit will be no use to Christ. Time period. The time period. For the praise of the world will destroy the saints of God, and also enslave them in that land that separates the seed of Lehi through the many waters. So the land of America is separated from the land of Africa by what? Many waters. many waters. Let's stop right there, because what Christ is saying is that in the time period of the European nation, the children of Israel will be enslaved. Ladies and gentlemen, Church of Christ, let's go to another book. Let's go to another book. Let's go to the Old Testament, pseudepigrapha. And we're going to be at the Apocalypse of Abraham. And we will be at chapter 32. And we're going to read verses 1 through 6. Therefore, hear, Abraham, and see, behold, your seventh generation shall go with you, and they shall go out into an alien land, and they will enslave them and oppress them as for 1 hour of the emperor's age, but of the nation whom they shall serve, I am the judge. And the Lord said this too, have you heard, Abraham, what I told you, what your tribe, the 12 tribes of the house of Israel, the 12 tribes, what your tribe will encounter in the last days, Abraham, having heard, accepted the words of God in his heart. The Apocalypse of Abraham. You can read this in your Bible, the stick of Judah. I got it highlighted in purple. Genesis chapter 15, verse number 13. You can read that back in the Bible, the stick of Judah, okay? Now this is the prophecy. This is a conversation between the Most High and Abraham. And the Most High is letting them know that the seed of Abraham will go into slavery in the last days. In the last days. Remember, Christ said that the European Empire, the fruit of their seed shall be no good to him at that time period. Okay? Matter of fact, let's get that again, okay? Let's get that again. Verse 32. But behold, there shall be many Gentiles coming from afar, from places overseas, and it shall be seen that none of their fruit shall be good unto me in this period of time. In this period of time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have that time period. That time period will be the slavery of the 12 tribes of Israel. Us Negroes. Verse 34. Time is getting on. And the Lord of the vineyard, is our title today. The Lord of the vineyard said unto the servant, what shall we do for this tree, that it may again store its good fruit for me? And the servant said to his master, look, because you have drafted branches of the wild olive tree, that is the Gentiles, and the natural olive tree through Christ, then they nourish the roots, so that they are alive and not dead. See therefore that they are still good. But behold, the Lord of the vineyard said unto his servant, it is of no use to me, the tree and its roots, if they bear evil fruit. Nevertheless, knowing that their roots are good, I will preserve them. I will preserve them. Let's stop right there. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 49, verse 6. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel, and to restore the preserved of Israel. Let's stop right there. Let's go back to the sealed book of Mormon. He says, I will preserve them. Now, let's go back to Isaiah chapter 49, verse 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the ends of the earth. So the Gentiles, their salvation is to find the 12 tribes, the house of Israel. Let's go. Let's precept that with Acts chapter 13, verse 47. Acts chapter 13, verse 47. For so hath the Lord commanded us, saying, I have set thee to be a light of the Gentiles. So the Most High, He's let us know, 12 tribes of Israel, that we have to be a light unto the Gentiles, that thou shouldest be for salvation unto the ends of the earth. The European Empire, if they want to be saved, they have to find the 12 tribes of Israel. They have to find a people that they put into slavery, that they've been mean to for over 530 years. You see, the European nation, the European Empire, they don't know who we are. They don't know who we are, but we living among them. And now, some of these Europeans, they're waking up. Some of these Europeans, they know who we are, but majority of them, they don't know. They don't know. This is something that is not taught in the Christian church. So Gentiles, if you want to be saved, you need to find some Hebrews, some Israelites. I am an Hebrew. I am an Israelite from the tribe of Joseph, Ephraim. Now let's continue. Verse 35. I will preserve them for a future purpose, and because of their great strength, they have produced good fruits of the grafted branches. And henceforth, the grafted branches will grow and overcome the roots of the tree. And because the branches are grafted, will grow and overcome the roots, then it will produce many evil fruits and be thrown into the fire, unless we do something to preserve it. Unless we do something to preserve it. Most High, Christ, they need to preserve the house of Israel. Because right now, Israel is getting that ass kicked right now. Israel is being punished by the Most High right now. So how can the Most High preserve the house of Israel? How can the Most High preserve the Negroes? How can He do it? Well, the Most High, Ahia, He's got to soften. He has to soften the hearts of the Gentiles. The Most High, He has to soften the hearts of the European Empire. Let's go to 2 Nephi chapter 10, verse 18. 2 2 Nephi chapter 10 verse 18. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, thus saith our God, I will afflict thy seed by the hands of the Gentile. I will afflict thy seed by the hands of the Gentiles. The Most High is going to have the European nation put their foot all up in our ass. We're being afflicted right now. That was the purpose of the Europeans coming to America, to punish us, to bring us down. Let's start over. 2 Nephi chapter 10 verse 18. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, thus saith our God, I will afflict thy seed by the hands of the Gentiles. Nevertheless, I will soften the hearts of the Gentiles. I will soften the hearts of the Gentiles. I will soften the hearts of the European nation. That day shall be like unto a father to them. Wherefore, the Gentiles shall be blessed and numbered among the house of Israel. The Most High, He's preserving us, Israel, and He softened the hearts of the Gentiles, the European nation, the European nation. Let's continue. Verse 36. And it came to pass that the Lord of the vineyard said unto his servant, Let us go down into the lower parts of the vineyard to see whether the natural branches also produce forth evil fruit. And it came to pass that they saw that the fruits of the natural branches, meaning the Jews, were corrupt also because of that abominable church. Yea, the first and the second, and also the last, and all the churches that had tried to bring forth good fruit had been corrupted. All the Gentile churches has been corrupted. All of them. The Baptist church, the Pentecostal church, the Mormon church, Seventh-day Adventist church, and who else we got? The Jehovah Witness. We got more churches, Presbyterian, all types of churches. They have all been corrupted. Now, let's go to 1 Nephi chapter 13, and we're going to read verses 1 through 6. 1 Nephi chapter 13, verses 1 through 6. Matter of fact, let's start at the header first. Nephi sees in a vision the church of the devil set up among the Gentiles. Set up among the Gentiles. Set up among the Gentiles. The Europeans. They created religion here in America. Verse 1. And it came to pass that the angel spake unto me, saying, Look, and I looked, and beheld many nations and kingdoms. And the angel said unto me, What beholdest thou? And I said, I behold many nations and kingdoms. And he said unto me, These are the nations and kingdoms of the Gentiles. And it came to pass that I saw among the nations of the Gentiles the formation of a great church. And the angel said unto me, Behold, the formation of a church, which is most abominable above all other churches, which slayeth the saints of God, yea, and tortureth them, and bindeth them down, and yoketh them with the yoke of iron, and bringeth them down into captivity, and bringeth them down into captivity, and bringeth them down into captivity. Who was forced into Christianity church. Verse 6. And it came to pass that I beheld this great and abominable church, and I saw And I saw the devil, that he was the founder of it. All of the European churches that was started here in this land, the devil was the founder of it. The European nation worships Satan, and they don't even know it. Israel, this is why we are here, to wake up the nations. To wake up the nations. But behold, the Lord of the vineyard then said unto his servant, this is the fulfillment of the vision of Nephi, concerning that man whom he saw, that was separated from the seed of his brethren by the many waters. And I saw that the Spirit of God came down and inspired the man, and Salakia, as the man went through the many waters, he came to the seed of his brethren, which was in the land of promise. The land of promise is America, okay? Just as he saw the Spirit of God inspire other Gentiles, which are branches of the wild olive tree, and therefore remnant of the house of Israel. And they went forth out of captivity, and crossed over many waters, and received the good land by inheritance. The Gentiles, they received the land of America by inheritance. Because right now, the Most High, he brought us down. He brought a nation from afar to punish us, because we, Israel, was acting wickedly in the land of promise here in the Americas. For they humbled themselves before the Lord, and the power of the Lord was with them. But these last drafted Gentiles, that is, Salakia, but these last drafted branches, that is, Gentiles, brought to the land overseas, will also surmount the seed of Lehi and his brethren. And the branch of the seed of his brethren will dry up and die. And the Lord will cry for his loss. And the Lord will cry for his loss. And the Lord will cry for his loss. Because all the fruit of his vineyard will perish, except these, but now are also corrupted. And all the trees of his vineyard are of no avail. What does that mean? It means worthless, no help, no profit unto the Most High, except to be cut down and cast into the fire. Let's stop there. I'm 48 minutes in, and I did not plan to go that long. You guys take care. Both Jews and Gentiles. To the European nation, walk out of your churches. It was set up by Satan. Walk out of your churches. The Most High soften your hearts to be nice to us, to preserve us. Thank you, Gentiles. Thank you for not utterly destroying us all. Y'all take care on this Sabbath day morning. I love you, both Jews and Gentiles. Take care.